therapy company, Bangalore. She is experienced in handling international company and also Indian companies' secretarial work. She has also assisted company in Muthutu Mini Financiers, debenture listed company. Ma'am, it is great to read your profile, and I welcome you again on behalf of Prayaana. So let's get started with the session.
Thank you so much, Tejal. So anyway, we'll start on to that right now. And then, so basically, I'll just move to my screen. Just one second. So, good evening, everyone. So here, I'm given opportunity to present on like how like a part of women empowerment, how we can start up your own entity. That entity can be divided like there are many opportunities to start an entity actually. That is not just a one stuff entity like a proprietorship or partnership. That is the mainly what we hear all the time. So basically, I'm here today just to explain to you like how many like what should be your entity as such, like and how you can start an entity. Actually, it's from your own working from home style also, as we all know that most of us are working from home due to this pandemic issue. So I'll just make this presentation very simple and not boring. I'll let you know all the aspects of how to start a company and how we can just build up your organization. If you already have a team or any idea, we can just move forward for that step. So first thing is that I'll let you know like myself also, I'm actually company secretary working for Kindorama Healthcare Private Limited. As we all know, it's a hospital. And then I'm working as a consultant for my directors consultants private limited. So basically and then I handle mainly compliance work, company secretarial works for both the companies. So here, as you all know that in this generation, that most of the women are self-independent now. They are much more very smarter, very intelligent, and they can even grow as what like they have skill, reach the sky like a phoenix bird. So what I'm telling you is that I'll just help you out regarding the company startup thing. So if you have an idea what your organization has to be, you can just think and just let me know which type of organization you want if you already have an existing idea. Okay, so here I'll let you know what will you do it. So these are the types of organizations that one can start. That is the first main thing, is like most of everyone can easily know what it is just by reading the name itself. So I'm not like more like explaining each and every step, but still I'll just give you a brief idea about it. So one thing here is like the first thing is sole proprietorship. If like an individual who wants to start in a small scale business, can do this sole proprietorship company. It's not a company, it's a partnership thing. And then we can do a partnership where it's like moreover like you have 2 or 3 members like partners and you have a combined idea, you can start a partnership thing. And then, but still, if you want to register as a company with a single member, you can start with a OPC, that is 1% company. This is kind of like very trending in the past few years, because most of the like, especially women's side also, most of them prefer this one because it's just an individual company. It's a very easy process to start. And even if you start, and the compliance part is also very easy. There is no much formalities or anything to start a OPC. And you can start it from anywhere, from wherever world you are sitting, you can start as per the jurisdiction. So like lately also, even I have incorporated 1% company who wanted to start a e-commerce. That is mainly for online pet shop products or artifacts or anything in interior works, whatever they have started. It's like a 1% company. That is mainly for e-commerce platform like Amazon, Flipkart and everything. Now it's like, then it comes to a public limited company, that if it's like more people and you want a public infuse of fund into it, you can start a public limited company. And then there is a limited liability partnership. It's either a partnership and it's a private company. It's a mix of both, but it's registered under Act, and so the liabilities are very much limited to that. And then comes the private limited company that, like most of us, everyone knows whatever we hear, like we have seen so many companies with a PVT LTD, right? So this is basically a company which cannot infuse public funds. So also wholly it is like in the hands of private people, like inside the persons, not outside. So then it comes to, and I'll give you a brief idea like how the decisions are made. So if you can go through, it says like, first you have to have an idea like which legal company structure is fit for your business idea. And then how to register your startup. If it's a startup, you can do guess with this thing, start with this. After this presentation, if you get an idea, you can start up with me. What legal documents do you need for the first step? Okay, these are the three main things which you need to figure out. And then you have to select what type of business you want and which type of customers you prefer. And then the turnover thing. So based on turnover, you can select, you can choose your companies. Okay. And scalability of your business idea, future funding prospectus. So these are the main things which have to be kept in mind before starting a organization or entity. Now, so the next point is like, I've given you a brief thing, but still I'll let you know, are you on your own or is there a team? So if it's like, if you already are combined, like a group of people who wants to start up an organization or anything, or you would be thinking, how long will it take? How much will it cost? If you have these doubts, how will you decide and all? It's like you can contact us for all that. If you have an idea, you can contact us. Our consultant firm is Direct Us Consultants, and my phone number and everything is given into the last page. I'll give you. So if you have any doubt or anything, you can just directly ask me. So basically, before starting, I'll just give you a small comparison. What is partnership, LLP, limited liability partnership, OPZ, and private company. So do you require registration? Partnership is not to be registered anywhere like companies. So in that moment, as you know, it's not legally very much complicated thing. Rest, LLP, OPZ, and private company are to be registered, and they need to be registered with the registrar of companies. In each state, we have each registrar of companies. So we have to get the approval from there. And then their liabilities are also, except for partnership, rest, everyone's liability are limited. So there is a risk is very low if you incorporate LLP, OPZ, or private company. Partnership, it's all unlimited. Whatever assets you have, whatever contribution is made, it just goes off once you lose your partnership. And the membership limit also, from a membership point of view, everyone is having two except an OPZ company. OPZ company is 1% company in which a company can only have a sole shareholder. That is why it's called an OPZ company. And what is the maximum member limit? It's like 10 for banking if it's a partnership, 20 for other companies, non-banking thing. LLP, it is unlimited, and OPZ, as I told you, it's 1, and for private company, it's 200 members. Is foreign ownership allowed in any of these? Except for LLP and private company, foreign ownership is allowed. You can go for like subsidiary, or you can go for tie-up for anything like in LLP and private company, not for OPC or partnership. But still, if you have your business, you want to grow higher, you want to change it from existing to another, you can go for conversion. There is another step of conversion also, so that you get into that increment of law where you can change it. Can the business ownership be transferred? Obviously, it can be transferred in all the 4 types of organization. It's particularly very easy. It's not a difficult thing. Basic yearly compliance. So for partnership, there is only a tax compliance part to be done. Rest, LLP, OPZ, and private company, which are all registered with Register of Companies, they have ROC matters plus tax. So the yearly compliance has to be checked with the company aspect and also income tax. Is audit mandatory? Mandatory after 25 lakhs turnover for partnership. If it is less, then it's not mandatory. Mandatory after 25 lakhs, same for LLP also. LLP also kind of a partnership benefits are there. So that is why this clause has come. And now incorporation process. The incorporation process for this company proprietorship registration is just 7 working days time is taken. First one is that you need to get an authorization letter and proprietorship charter. And then filing of form 1 with labor office. And the third one is the labor office will verify all your data. And once everything is perfect, they will obtain your certificate of registration. So you can start a process of proprietorship. And now it is like 1% company. So basically in 1% company, it's similar like all the company incorporation, which we'll be discussing in further slides. First one is for every company, we need to have a digital signature. Digital signature is required. Obtaining director identification number, that is called DIN, that is very mandatory. And then we need to submit firm's name, and then it need to be approved and ready to use from the registrar of companies, and then the drafting the memorandum of association and articles of association. These are the two main important charter. It's like a bible for a company. So all the objects in every what aspects a company can do is imbibed in that articles or memorandum of association. And then we need to file now. As of now, all the incorporations are like memorandum and articles are in electronic form. We don't have to print out book and paper like we used to have. It's all electronically saved in your desktop. So it's very convenient and easy to use right now. Filing of MOA and AOA with the registrar of companies, and then once it's all done, within 15 working days of incorporation, you'll get the registration certificate. So this is what 1% company incorporation is done. And now it's just a small difference between 1% and sole. So for sole proprietorship, there is no legal requirement to do so. But as per a 1% company, as it's called a company, we need to get the approval from Ministry of Corporate Affairs, registrars, and as per the Companies Act 2013. What type of business names can I keep? Firstly, submit a set of names to registrar of companies, wait for approval from the registrar, and the best practice is to choose that you should not have a name which is like already it's there in the registrars of companies name list. It shouldn't be sound very familiar. So it should be a different one, and it shouldn't be an offensive name or anything related to central government emblem or anything, all that stuff. The name should be different, but it should not be a similar one to another existing company. Even if it sounds similar, or if you have a common name, you need to get approval from a non-objection certificate from that company which already have that name, or else you can not use that name. So for sole proprietorship, promoter can use any name that he likes, but avoiding names already trademarks is advisable. What are the suffixes that apply to my business name? 1% company is required to keep private limited suffix at the end of its legal name. That is, private limited in bracket OPC need to be used for 1% company. No such requirement has in their sole proprietor because it's not registered as a company. How risky is it for me? OPC is separate legal person in the eyes of law. So the shareholder is not responsible for business liability. As it's a separate legal, all the companies are considered as a separate legal entity. So the liabilities are limited to that extent. So it's not like, it's not like partnership that we need to put in all our assets and everything into that once it's go to bankruptcy or anything. Promoter will stand liable for the liabilities of the business because the business is not considered as a legal person. That is the main difference with the 1% company and sole proprietorship. To what extent is each member of the business liable? Liability is limited to her share capital contribution. So each and everyone will contribute to a capital amount once starting of the company. It can start from 50,000 to 1 lakh. So two individuals, they can just divide it with a nominal face value, 10 rupees, 100 rupees, and they can start the capital. And the sole proprietorship, they don't have such share capital thing. It's unlimited liability. That is the difference. Now, private company. I'll explain to you like what is private company, public company, OPC, LLP, proprietorship in much detailed version. So once the private company, it is a form of business in which a small group of people manage this type of entity privately without any public interference. To form a private company, the requirement of is like minimum of 2 directors and 2 shareholders or subscribers. As on the date of incorporation of a private company is hassle-free and having a very low cost of incorporation. So basically, because of this, most everyone, it's like the compliance part is also less, and it's like 2 people starting a company. It can be a husband and wife, or it can be a sister, it can be a mother, daughter, or you can be friends can start. Whoever can start a company, just 2 people. You have a good idea, good platform to start anything. You can start with a private company. It has less hindrance, like cost is efficient, everything is good. And what is like a public company means? Public company is a limited company formed with a minimum of 7 members. So for public company, you need to have a 7 members as shareholder minimum, and a 3 directors. So there is no restriction for maximum number of members in a public company. Generally, companies that require huge capital investment option to be registered as a public limited. Whatever, if like they want to have a start company which need a public issue, the equity and everything. It's like they want to infuse capital from public. They need to go for a public company. LLP. LLP is mainly meant for professional and advisory firms with like they don't need more equity funding. They just need to get on with their work, but they need to get the benefit of company as well as they want to get in a benefit of a partnership. So basically, for that purpose, they apply for the LLP. It has been gaining popularity since 2008 because it combines some of the better aspects of partnership firm and a private limited company. So it's not risky like a partnership, but it's like safe like a company. So it's whoever can balance these both very, good way they can go for this one. For non-scalable business, if you are running a business that are unlikely to require equity funding, you may want to register an LLP as it combines several benefits of the private limited company and general partnership. It has limited liability like a private, let's see, it has a limited liability like a private limited company, has a simple structure like a general partnership. So that is why mainly everyone goes for LLP. So OPC company. So OPC, as I explained to you in the stating phase, is like it's one of my favorite one. And OPC is not much different than a private limited company, except in that there is only one director. So if a single individual who have a wonderful idea of getting their business to another greater heights, and it's a single thinking that I'm just an individual, you can start a OPC or anything. You don't have to think too much. You can just start a company like a one-person company. So although there must be a nominee should be there, that's the only thing. The nominee can be your sister, your husband, your brother, your friend, whoever can take part as a nominee. But they don't have a much importance into that. It's just for namesake how we have a nominee for our assets, we keep it like for an FD and whatever. You start an FD, we need a nominee. So that is the basic thing in there. And it's for only for solo entrepreneurs. A big improvement over the sole proprietorship firm, given that your liability is limited. OPC meant for solo entrepreneurs. However, do note that if it has revenue of over 2 crore and paid up capital of over 50 lakh, it needs to be converted into a private limited company because its clauses change. You can handle it as a one person if your turnover goes to 2 crore. You need another person to help you out and to check on the compliance, how this like your company has gone to a greater height, so you need to get it into a next level. So for that, you need to change it to convert to a private limited company. That is also very easiest step, conversion of OPC to a private limited company. It's not a big hindrance work. Furthermore, given that there must be a nominee director to enable perpetual existence of the OPC, you may as well consider starting a private limited company, which will also have a flexibility of raising funds. That is the main thing, raising funds. So I'll explain to you the incorporation process for limited liability partnership registration. So it takes 15 working days. Same way, you have to get a digital signature, a director identification number, and the firm name needs to get approved, and the partnership deed to be drafted, and then you need to get an registration certificate of registration from the ROC. So, but we keep it as a designated partner. For all the LLP registered, we don't name as a director, and we name the office holder designation as designated partner wherever that name is mentioned. As a private limited company, is also take like 15 working days to a maximum. But if we have a technical issue or anything, it'll take another 5 days extra. So the same way you have to get a register signature, director identification number, name approval, MOA and AOA. As I said, it's now e-file. So it's bit much faster actually. And then once it's all approved, you get the certificate. Now partnership firm. So partnership firm is a legal structure only if you're running a small business, or else you don't have to think about it. That will have no debts or liability, which is very unlikely. The simple reason for this is unlimited liability. If you have a small business and if your funding is like not much, like which you can't handle once it goes off, it's small which you can handle with your own funds, you can go for partnership firm. It's not that very complicated stuff, and it's very easy to start. If you choose not to register your partnership firm, all you need to get started is a partnership deed. This you can have ready in just 2 to 4 days. Even registration for that matter can be completed in a day. Once you have the appointment with the registrar, as compared with a private limited company or LLP, therefore the procedure for starting up is much simpler. Now it comes to sole proprietorship. Only small traders and merchants should consider this. Simple reason for this is just as this case of the partnership firm. It also has unlimited liabilities. Right from starting, I've mentioned it's unlimited liability is the reason why most of them doesn't start this. But if your business is like into your hands and you know how far it will go if you get a debt or anything, if it's like you have it in control, then you can start a sole proprietorship. So the basic thing is like unlimited liability. Just as a partnership, a sole proprietorship has no separate existence as because it's not legally registered. Therefore, all debts can only be recovered from the sole proprietor. This means that the owner has unlimited liability with regard to all debts, and this should heavily discourage any risk taking, which means that it's suited to only tiny businesses. If you plan on running a business that requires a loan or may end up paying penalties or fine or compensation, it is best you look into registering as an OPC. I hope everyone is okay with this thing. Now you can go for trust registration. It's if your intention is to improve the society, you have that feeling that you need to do anything for the society, or like upliftment, or like the same way how Prayaana is undertaking empowerment of women. If you need to do like that, and if you want to form a trust registration, or you need to incorporate as a trust or society, whatever it is, you can go for trust registration. This is apart from different from companies, what I told, because Trust Registration Act and every compliances are different from companies. So main purpose to make a trust registration is to enhance cultural, academic, and social condition of people. Work for democracy, good governance, peace, justice, and cooperation. Trust registration is that those who want to involve family member as well in trust can apply for trust registration. Encourage the people to develop a much better society, to do programs which help in education. So basically, if you have come to know that Infosys Trust Registration, which is run by Sudhamurthy ma'am, she's been running and doing it completely very successfully, and she is like, so that is like a trust which they have created to have to help and uplift the society, uplift the surroundings which do not have all that, inbuilt basic amenities. So it's like all the uplift. That's the main example I can give here now. Society. Society is a group of individuals who work in a non-profitable manner so as to promote and support communal purposes. So these societies must have a minimum of 7 individuals who work together for purposes including literature, fine arts, sports, culture, religion, other topics that are usually looked down on in case of growth and professional needs. However, such societies that work this way are eligible for registering themselves under Society Registration Act. So it's like a group of individuals. It's the same way it's a trust, but it's just a different name and different act is being preferred. That is in support of a communal purpose, and it's mainly a non-profitable. What you guys are all been doing is also part like a starting up a society or a trust, whatever the ultimate aim is empowerment and helping those who are in need. And now, as this is the actually Society Registration Act, which is here in Travancore. Like as a part of in Kerala, this is the act which we've been using to register as a trust. So all that legal formalities and everything is as per this act. And you can start a trust as a public as well as a private trust. Private trusts are governed by Indian Trust Act 1882. Public trusts mainly express a constructed trust for either for public thing, religious or charitable purpose. It can be bifurcated into two ways, that is charitable trust and religion trust. And the public trust are all governed by the Religious Endowment Act, Charitable Act, and there are like so many other trust act. Which now the registration process of public trust is like you need to have an appropriate name for the trust, and then you get name should not be restricted list of names as per the provisions of Emblems and Names Act 1950, that you cannot use which similar to what emblems it said in that emblems and names. Beside the settlers or authors and the trustees of the trust, that you whoever it is, they have to be decided upon pre-incorporating trust, formulate memorandum of association and trustee of your trust. So these are the another two Bible thing of your trust if you want to start. So these are the things which need to be completed. Trustee, then you need to have a self-attested copy of the proof of identity of the settler, mainly Aadhaar, passport, and everything. Self-attested copy of proof of identity of each trustee, whoever is part of a trustee, and a PAN card of all, and proof of registered office address of the trust also. And then a trustee should be on a stamp paper. It differs as per state. If it's from Kerala, the rate in Kerala should be used on the trans paper, stamp paper, sorry. Submit the trust deed with the registrar and obtain the registration certificate. After completing all the formalities, registration certificate is issued within a minimum of 7 working days. So even within a minimum of 7 working days, your trust has been completed. And now the thing is that the other company is Section 8 company. So Section 8 company is like mainly you want to start an organization as a non-profit organization, but it should enjoy all the privileges of a company, not as a trust or society or partnership, but you need to have all the privileges of a company, how a company enjoys everything. So for that, you can have a Section 8 company, mainly for, as you all know, that CSR, corporate social responsibility has been initiated, and you must be knowing companies which has been allocating CSR fund to all the empowerment, upliftment, or whatever. So some companies register, like some companies give their fund to Section 8 companies. That is the main purpose is to enhance the society, upbring the society. That is why they use Section 8 companies actually. So it's mainly they registered as a Section 8 companies under Companies Act 2013, and the main object and the main purpose is like they are for non-profit purpose, and they get special status and certain exemption as it's registered under Section 8. Taxation aspect is very less, and they don't have it neither like other companies also. So Section 8 companies special approval is needed because it's for a non-profit object they have been forming this company. So they may get so many funds and everything. So they need a special authority approvals, which is also not a very too much process to be done. Now, why private limited companies preferred by staff? As I told you at the first itself, mostly everyone is doing private limited company. Right around like last year, compared it to last year, around 69 to 70,000 companies have been incorporated in, as a lot in that year. Our firm has also have incorporated more than like 200 plus company, 500 plus companies as such. So private limited companies preferred structure by startup because of stability and growth opportunities offered by the structure. Further, it assures separate legal existence from its members. As I said, separate leads with liabilities and proceedings is all different. Involve into so they can involve into contract, legal proceedings in its own name. Moreover, a company status is unaffected from any change in members and management. So that doesn't get if whoever wants to get resigned, we can change as a shareholder, can transfer share within themselves. There's no much formalities also. it's easy procedure, because as we all know that our generation and the upcoming generation, they can't wait for a second. They all need like a swap in a minute. They need everything to be done. So all the startups which very, which all they need to get growing at speedy fast, they prefer private limited company. So mainly steps in incorporation is like the basic incorporation steps is like first application of name approval. This is the latest step which we've been doing right now, because earlier it was like we need to submit so many forms and everything. Right now it's comparatively very easy, and it's all online thing which can be done by a practicing company secretary or a company secretary. Application for approval name, and there are 3 4 forms which we need to mention all the details of directors, if it's an OPC, nominee and director, shareholders, and if it's a private limited company, the directors, shareholders, registered office address, other residential address, whatever it's thing, we need to submit and mention it in all forms. And then in the same form we can get ESI approval, PAN approval, and bank account statement has been opened. So we don't have to go out and get a third party to do it. It's all done electronically through this Ministry of Corporate side. And then once it's all approved by the designated authority, you will get a certificate of incorporation. Once the certificate of incorporation is done, you need to register your registered office address in this form INC 22. And that form need to be submitted. Once that is there, it is the complete procedure that your company is being incorporated. Once that is there, you need to account a bank account open. And bank account open is like it's a statement which shows that the capital you have contributed to the bank account has to be reflected in that. And with that, we need to file a commencement of business certificate, that is INC 20A. So that means you have established your organization and then you have started your business. So once that commencement of business is done, you are ready to go and do your business. Now, so this is like a simple one actually. So if like people who are listening who already have a company or any organization which I've discussed earlier, or it's due to some reasons you couldn't do the compliance part like filing forms ROC or annual filings, if whoever is having companies may be doing it. So if anyhow if they didn't do it just because of coronavirus or this pandemic, or before that due to any personal reason they missed it up doing it, so the Ministry of Corporate Affairs have come up with the company's fresh start scheme. So under this scheme, whoever hasn't filed everything in timely or need to do it again, they want to need to have a fresh start, they can go and do it. Like they can't directly go and do it. They have to consult the practicing company secretary firm, or you want someone like, then you can use director's form, the work form which I know, which I'm part of it. So we do fresh start scheme companies. Whoever hasn't filed anything timely, they don't have to pay any additional fee. Only the correct fee which comes to the form, which normal fee which we have without any additional fee, you can file it. And now the government has, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and central government have decided to extend the date. The due date was 30th September. Now they moved on to 31st December 2020. But there are certain conditions that need to be explained very well. If anyone is interested in this scheme, please let me know. I'll explain to you everything in detail, because I don't have to explain all. It's like a very broad topic. So there are certain companies which doesn't come under this one. That is inactive company. Inactive company can apply for the CFS 20s who has to file the due documents that I said. So non-applicability is for the, if striking off, that register have ordered a strike off thing, that the name should be striked off because they have not compliant for so such years. So those companies cannot initiate this thing under CFS thing. And it's been now the extension for filing all the forms has been to 31st December 2020. Now I'm just briefly explaining to you like what my firm and what I'm doing. So directors is like consulting firm which undertakes like all the compliance part of a company secretary, right from starting of the company till the company's wind up. The closing, till from starting to closing, all the process in between are handled by our consultants. And we have like compliance management services, legal management services, financial and taxation, label compliance issues if you have, and we have all the XPRL services also for the companies. And if you have any doubt or anything, please let me know. Get in touch with, this is my phone number and my mail ID, and this is my another my partner's email ID, which can be used if you have any doubt. So basically, the major thing is that all everyone is like, whoever has the idea to start up a company, or you want to start up as an entity, a single company or a single proprietorship, it's easy start. It's just that you need to have a good idea, and you need to have a base, like where we need to start and how we need to start, how to upbring that. If you have a futuristic mind and mentality, it's very easy to start a company right now. It's a simple procedure. Everything is like super computerized, and e-filing and approval and everything is getting fast. So it's just that now people need to have time and think to have a change and to start. So I need to conclude it by saying that uh, if like any questions or anything is there, please let me know. And I'd like to thank you all for listening to my session, and hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you have any doubts or anything, please let me know. And special thanks to Prayaana team, and special thanks to Tejal also for helping me out in this presentation.
No issues, ma'am. It was my pleasure. So, ma'am, coming back, now that you have pretty much covered everything in this session, we have two questions. First question is, how has this pandemic changed the face of incorporating a company?
Yeah, basically, pandemic side didn't bring up any change that such. It's like everyone's business got stagnated, as such, whatever it is, like if they had an idea of starting it, so they basically need to go out, like need to, it's not like they didn't have an idea that sitting at home and starting a company was easy. Unless, when this pandemic thing approached, and still we've been getting work. So we initiated all the remote working, and we used to do incorporation works from our computer. So all the forms are electronically filed. So basically, starting a company from this side, it's not a difficult. Even if it's like pandemic has come, it hasn't stopped at only the ideas in people's minds, and need to get brighten up with more ideas, so that like us can incorporate companies. Yeah.
Right. Ma'am, next question is, what precautions should people take to ensure smooth flow of the process?
Yeah, the basic thing is that one thing, if like if you have a company, or if you want to start a company, you need to have a compliance thing. So you can't basically, so we all have a qualified persons, like if it comes to a taxation aspect, you go to a chartered accountant. If you have any company related doubt, you go to a company secretary. All the practicing firm over where you ask, Google it, or you ask your friends. So basically, you need a third person to explain to you all. So if you start a company, like from our part, our firm, what we does is that when we incorporate a company, we after incorporation, we will check into all the compliances part. We will send out a checklist for which what all things has to be done quarterly, annually, what are the meetings, what are the compulsory statutory things has to be mandatorily done by a part of a company, so that penalties and all the legal proceeding has doesn't come upon the way. We keep reminders, we just inform them everything, so that it goes in a picture perfect way. It's just that, if people who are very well determined, they want to be well compliant, they will follow it apart from our reminders. But if like they need to start it, but they think that it goes in that way, that is where the hindrance gets, everything gets stopped there. So that is why, the people doesn't, like some people, like they have a company, but might be they not getting time, because everyone are busy with their business. So there is no one else to explain to them why, like what if you don't file anything, what happens, the penalty, what is coming, additional fees of not filing annual forms or anything. I think is pretty much very higher, and it's like you need to keep a separate budget. You need to take another extra amount of spend that is already been you know planned to your business. So for all that thing, this start that fresh scheme I just explained to you, that is where it has come. If people who hasn't done any annual filings or anything, if they have anything pending, if you see if the company is in a default list, they can go under the CFS scheme. They can file everything whatever they want, and then they can be an active company and active compliant. So we've been doing that for the past 1 to 3 months. My teammates have been filing like 10 years annual filing companies have not been done, and they become inactive, and we've been doing that now. So now it's everything getting back together. So basically, the government is helping us due to this pandemic thing. They are just helping us to let the people just do it like whatever they've been pending, just start it afresh. That's what they're like. Yeah, I hope that is.
Ma'am, many of the people are not aware of these schemes, or as now you suggested, whatever. But
Yeah.
are there any special things that they need to take into consideration so that they'll be more updated regarding all this?
Yeah, if they want, like, I can't just they can like go for like they can consult a consultant like us, whoever it is have they are having in their place, or they can directly ask me. I've given my mail ID. I can just help them out as they want, like when and how things should. If they have any doubt related to company filings or anything, if they want to know about more scheme, if the dates get extended, they can just like ask to us or just put a mail to me. I'll just reply. That is of no issue because we've been keeping an update. So like we send to our client. So whoever wants to be our client can also get into it. So we can send a mail inquiry and everything. Whatever we can, we can. So whoever have that interest, they can contact. So I can put them into that list.
Sure, sure. That's so sweet of you, ma'am. Thanks a
Yeah.
lot. And with this, we come to an end to all the interactive session and all the questions that we had. Thank you so much for all the information that you have shared. I'm sure it was very helpful for everyone who is watching this. Thanks a
So
lot once again.
thank you, Tejal.
Yes. Ma'am, may I please request you to stop the screen sharing so that I can
Sure,
share?
sure. So should I like well just stop?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So viewers who are viewing this, do share your feedback to our YouTube channel as a comment. And for advertisements or sponsorships, mail us at joinprayaana@gmail.com. Well, on the occasion of the World Sight Day, we are coming with another great session, which is based on impact of COVID situation on eye health and wellness of dependents, which is taken by Dr. Sachin Matthew George. So please don't forget to watch this also. And last but not the least, thanks once again to Aparna ma'am. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Tejal. Thank
Thanks
you,
a lot.
Prayaana, for giving me this opportunity. Bye.
Yeah, bye ma'am. Have a good day.
Have a good day. Bye.